In this video, I think I screwed everything up. I really do. Roll titles. Well, hi YouTube, Brian James at Micro Four Thirds Guy with you once again. I think I might have screwed things up a little bit. Find out why, I think that a little bit later in the video. I'll come to that. I've got a few subjects to talk about in this video. And this is the first of the sort of one-on-one chat videos I've done for a few weeks, actually. I don't do too many of them these days. You know, my car videos, I call them, but it's too dark and too cold to go out in the car. I usually do them in sort of mid-afternoon. In mid-afternoon it's dark, so I started coming in the warmth of my caravan. I love my caravan, and I started coming in the warmth of the caravan just to keep me comfortable. So I'm going to do a few from in here. But yeah, I've got a few topics to discuss this afternoon with you, but I'm going to be looking as to whether I've screwed everything up a little bit later on in the video. So keep watching if you would. And before we start, please consider hitting the subscribe button below. I'm over 12,500 subscribers. Thank you very much. That's given me a 25% increase on this time last year. Because if you remember, this time last year, I was in Cyprus and I was just hitting 10,000 subscribers. So to those 2,500 who've come on board this year, thank you. You're awesome people. To those 10,000 who were there originally, though, you're awesome people too. And I couldn't have done it without all your help. So thank you. But if you're not subscribing, and that's over half of the viewers, please hit the subscribe button below. And when you're down there, do me a favor too. There's a little thumbs up. Whether you like the video or not, just give me a thumbs up, because that really does help the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, we'll come back to that later. So, why am I doing this today? Well, I had a really interesting chat today to my Rotary Club. And if you're not sure what a Rotary Club is, it's one of the biggest individual service organisations in the world. We've got clubs in almost every country of the world. It's not religious, it's not denominational, it's not a political thing. Basically, we get together and chat. Women and men get together to have a nice meal, lunch, dinner, whatever the type of club it is, and try to do projects which help other people. Other people will never meet. Other people could be at the opposite side of the world, and just try and do some good in the world and try to make people's lives a little bit better. So I've been a member of that since about 2007, but I did a talk. We usually have a guest speaker, and when we started the club, we do our job talk, and they say what we do for a living. Well, mine's changed. And of course, I'm now a digital influencer, a specialist influencer, because I have a niche channel. So I'm a specialist influencer. So I've got over 10,000 subscribers, which, according to one thing that I've seen, makes me an influencer now. Hard to believe, isn't it, really? I'm an influencer. Not an influenza. That's the flu. An influencer. I get people to go and buy product and change their views, according to what it said in this article today. But yeah, I'm doing that. And also, I'm a bit of a digital nomad now, because I do my teaching and things online through Zoom. And with me going out to Cyprus, I'm going to be doing all that teaching and the creation of these videos from in Cyprus. So I gave them a talk today, and it was fascinating, because the majority of people in my club, well, all the people in my club are over 60. I'm the youngest, or the second youngest person in the club now. And there's an awful lot of people just don't know what YouTube's about. And I think they were quite stunned, absolutely stunned, when they were seeing the figures of how big YouTube is, how many hours worth of videos uploaded every minute, and all those sort of things, all those fascinating huge figures we've seen on YouTube. So I presented that to them and thoroughly enjoyed it. Got asked some really good questions by them, and shown a couple of videos online, which was good, and just had a lot of fun. But it made me think about YouTube, and it made me go back and have a look at some of my analytics. Now, I've started up another channel, a Path to Paphos channel, because, as you well know, I'm emigrating to Paphos in Cyprus next year, and I'm documenting that. There's a link at the very end of the video. Keep watching until the end, and you see the end cards, which come up either side, and you'll find that there's a link to my Path to Paphos channel. Go and join me if you haven't done so already. I'd love to see you across there. The problem is, of course, at the moment, I'm 2,000 miles away from Paphos, so I'm doing an awful lot of what-ifs when I'm going, but it's going to get better. And I'm going to do a lot of travel videos when I actually emigrate over there. So that should be a fun channel. So I gave my talk to Rotary, and it really went down well. But that got me interested in looking at what's going on around things. And I started looking at my channel. And there's a few strange things happening on YouTube. I don't know if you've noticed it. There's a few strange things happening on YouTube at the moment. Every time I upload a new video to this channel, within seconds, I lose 3 or 4 subscribers, but not for the new video. You'd think if a new video was going up and I was immediately losing 3 or 4 subscribers, they would be against this video, but it's not. It's just on the channel. And on the new channel, I got an awful lot of really quite nasty trolling type comments, which have stopped now. And it's been suggested these could be bots, you know, the non-accounts, the ones which look like accounts, but they're not really. They're a bit automated. And if I take the thing about the other channel first, when I first started that channel, I got an awful lot of very trolling type comments. I remember I got some on this channel at first. And very soon they sort of died off. I replied to some, died off. And most of these were channels which have got no videos on themselves. They've been channel members for some very short time. And now that it's been up a little while, even though I'm uploading new videos, I'm not seeming to get the trolls. I'm getting quite pleasant comments. Now, I would have thought that if you got somebody who's new to the channel and has seen a video for the first time and they were a trolly type, they would troll the new video. But I'm not getting any of that. And the other thing with the subscribers, where the subscribers are disappearing, if it was to do with my new video, surely that would come up on the video itself. They'd seen the video and thought, I've had enough of this and I'll unsubscribe. But they're not. So I think it's a lot of these robotic bot accounts. Only lose half a dozen. And what usually happens is you'll see on the curve in the video that you lose a couple of subscribers, then you build them up again and you get more subscribers than you had originally. So if you've got a channel of your own and you get this problem with subscriber count suddenly dropping off every time you upload a new video, but then building straight back up again, let me know, because I think it's bots, these robotic accounts. But that also brings us on to some of my newer videos. Now, I did a video where I showed some old photos and some older photos from a collection. And I'm quite limited because the majority of photos I took were commercial photos. They were photos for other people. And I either don't own the copyright or I'm not willing to put them up. Especially things like school kids, when you've been doing the photography on the school. I'm there, although I have copyright in those photos, I don't think it's necessarily ethically correct for me to be showing photographs of other people's kids without even asking them permission. I can do that. I know legally in the UK I can do that, but ethically, no. So there's a lot of those that I can't show. But what I have done is I pulled out some photographs from a few different sessions, and I put the last one up last week. I have one which is already available for my Patreon patrons. So if you are one of my Patreon patrons, one of the landscape level, the higher level, then you'll be able to see that video in advance. That's going to be going live this weekend, I think on Saturday, so the second one. First one was all about people in music. And I got some really nice comments. Thank you very much for the comments on that. But the one that's coming up this time is just some people shots. A lot of family. There's a lot of family shots in there because, well, when I'm not working for somebody else, it tends to be my family that I'm taking photographs with or for. So there's an awful lot of sort of family shots. And thank you very much for all the really, really kind comments about my granddaughter. She is cute. And yes, an awful lot of people said some really nice comments. I'll have a quick drink of coffee. But yeah, that's really appreciated. So thank you very much for that. But I'm just wanting to know what you think about those show the photographs. It's taken me a long time to get the guts to show them. I'm not somebody who sort of said, well, a photographer, surely you want people to see your photos, and generally not. If I'm shooting for a commercial purpose and I'm being paid for it, then I tend to do really good shots. I know what I'm doing. I tend to do shots which I consider to be the top of the field that I can possibly do, and deserving of the fee and the price that I charge for them. In fact, usually I undercharge and cost them. But when it comes to my own personal shots, yes, I've been a professional photographer, but being a professional photographer doesn't mean to say you're a good photographer. It just means that you do the job properly and you get paid for doing it. And for me, I've always been very reticent about showing my photos online. You do put your neck on the block. Whenever you do anything of an artistic bent, you put your neck on the block and you open yourself to criticism. And I'm not a great one at receiving criticism, unfortunately. I tend to take everything very much to heart. So sometimes it's easier just to back away from it. But a lot of you have asked to see some of my older photos. Most of the photos I'm showing are my pre-Micro Four Thirds Day photos as well, actually. But if you're happy with those, let me know in the comments below that you want to see some more videos like that. They're quite fun to do, to go back through the old photos and just see what you did and then remember why you took them. But one of the things I haven't noticed on that is photographs which I dismissed at the time as just being bland or whatever. I'm now looking at them as I return to them and think that's actually quite an enjoyable photograph. I'm enjoying the image of it. And I think maybe at the time you're too tied up in what you're doing. But when you have a year or two and maybe a few years where you go back and visit something, you're seeing that scene effectively from the first time. You've forgotten all your preconceptions originally, and you come back into them at a better sort of time. So that I'm enjoying that. So if you're enjoying those photographs, again, let me know in the comments below. I love reading your comments. I read every comment. I try and respond to an awful lot of them, but I read every comment and I appreciate every comment. So if you do get a chance, just leave me a comment below on any of the videos that you see from my channel, because I really do enjoy reading them and seeing them. Get a lot of comments on some of the older videos as well, which is something I'm having to think back and think, what did I say? What did I say about that particular thing? What was I saying in that video? That's quite difficult at times. So yes, let me know if you enjoyed those photo videos. The views aren't particularly high. Let me know as well if the reason why. If you would just let me know why the views aren't particularly high, or if you are watching it, as to why you're watching it. But that's also caused me a little bit of a problem, and this is what I was getting to before. So have I screwed things up? Now, a couple of weeks ago, a month or so back, a month or two ago, I put a video out where I was a bit low, and I got a huge amount of support from the community out there. Thank you, community. Thank you, all the people who leave comments and who subscribe and who watch the channel, because I do read them, I do listen, and I got a lot of support because of the slight change in where that I'm going, and where I'm moving away a little bit from some of the reviews. I'm still going to do reviews, don't get me wrong. There'll still be reviews of equipment, of cameras and things, but less emphasis on that and more emphasis on just doing the image or telling the story of the image or just communicating about my photography, my photos, my videos. But what I have noticed, and this is quite scary, is where I'd get several thousand views as my normal videos would put out 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 views. On these newer ones, which aren't a huge format change, I seem to be sticking 1,000 or maybe less views. Now, for me, that's quite a big difference. And I'm wondering if there's something I'm doing wrong which has caused that. I did get some subscribers leave when I said that. I'm totally comfortable with that. Because obviously it's not to their taste, and that's fine. We live in a very open, democratic sort of channel on YouTube. But I was a bit concerned as to why people aren't watching them anymore, because the comments I'm getting seem incredibly positive. Everybody seems to be congratulating me on taking a wise move towards this. So what is it that's causing the view count to go down? If you let me know in the comments below, I'd love to know. But that's caused me some issues, as I say. And I think some of it is getting the balance right. I said I am still going to do some reviews. I am still going to do some of the stuff I used to do, and have it as the camera-centric thing, the tech-centric part, but nowhere near as much. I'm trying to get the balance away from that, so it's more in the creative and more of the sort of story side of things. So again, let me know as to whether I'm too far one way or too far the other. Obviously, I'm not going to please everybody all the time. I totally understand that. That's life. You're not going to please everybody. But at the same time, I don't want to damage the channel. I've done a lot of work to try and get this to the point where we have a really good community here. Speaking of community, before I finish this, one more point. Give us a second, because have a look at these wonderful people, because these are my Patreon patrons. And these are the people who keep the channel going. There's 2 levels of patron, and you can find out, there's a link below. But there's 2 levels of patron that we have here. One is just basically getting your name up on the list there. The other one is a little bit more expensive, but that gives you some early access to some of the videos and some little treats and some one-off videos I just do for patrons. So all those people, thank you, because you keep the channel going. Anyway, oh, and if you get the chance, if you just want to do one-off, there's a buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee. Thank you. I enjoy my coffees, as you can tell. But I'm going to leave you on this one. I was watching a video the other day by a guy called Grant Robert Davis. He's an Antipodean, I think from Australia, but certainly an Antipodean. He's got a really energetic sort of style of presentation. A Micro Four Thirds user primarily Lumix, and he's one of the newer channels who's propped up in the last couple of years, and I really, really like his stuff. I love his presentation style, very different than mine. And I've talked to him a few times on chat and things like that when I've done live streams, or he's tried to do a live stream. And I find him a really enjoyable, nice guy to view. I'll try and remember to put a link up to his channel above here, because he's certainly worth checking out if you haven't checked him out already. But he was on about shooting in manual. And he made a comment which really I wasn't expecting him to say. He shoots mainly on manual. And he was saying he's been doing photography seriously since about 2017. And the reason he shoots manual is because he, in his words, didn't really understand at the time the exposure triangle. Didn't understand about how to get the exposure and how they all fitted together. I can assure you, looking at his photographs, he does now. But he was talking about why he shoots manual mainly rather than the automatic modes. And I found that quite strange. And I don't know about what you think. A lot of you have been taking photographs for a long time. I know that there's a certain age group on here which have been taking photographs since the good old days. Steam-driven cameras. Steam-driven cameras, yes. Yes, the good old days. But yeah, I was quite surprised that admission, and this is not detrimental to Grant at all, as I say, but I was surprised by the reasoning behind it. And I suddenly realised that we take a lot of things for granted. We really do take a lot of things for granted. I just make expectations that everybody out there knows the basics. And some people do, some people don't. And it took me by surprise that somebody would have to use a different camera mode because they didn't really understand what was going on at the time. As I say, the guy obviously does know what he's doing now. He's a very, very good photographer. I've seen some of his output on his channel, and he's very, very good. So he's obviously good at grasping it now. But it was a big man's admission, actually. I was really impressed by it. But it did make me think about how many people who are watching this channel, watching this video now, struggle on the basics. Struggle just to understand what the relationship between the primary effects of the controls are, the shutter speed, what that's really used for, but why you would have a slow or a fast shutter speed, aperture, about it's letting more or less light in with the aperture of the iris, or ISO for the film speed or sensor speed. And of course, you've got to understand what the secondary effects are with the depth of field from the aperture, and obviously how your focal length can affect just depth of field too, and to do with compression, and of course your shutter speed with what it with its effects on capturing moments and motions and things, and why you would change your ISO. I find it quite fascinating that somebody doesn't understand that, yet they are really in the photography. So it's been a bit of an eye-opener to me. So thank you very much to Grant. A really interesting subject. I like having a nice good subject now and again from people, because it makes me stop and think. And again, if I'm taking it for granted, then it does tend to make me think that maybe we need to have a little look at some things on there a little bit. I also had an interesting session with my colleague Paul, who have reviewed some of his equipment, the 100 to 400 Lumix, for instance, like a Lumix zoom lens, and the 60mm macro Olympus lens that he loaned me to do. He's just started getting into flash photography. He's got a couple of flash guns, but I really interested in sit down and coffee with him a couple of nights ago. Speaking of coffee, I do like my coffee. About flash, and I sort of took him through using manual flash. and how to set your exposure and how to, you know, to get rid of ambient light and to give you control and all sorts of things like that. And I felt very uncomfortable because he is a damn good photographer. He really is an excellent photographer. Yet I was teaching him the basics of strobes, you know, the small strobe lights that you use for manual or going on TTL and things like that. So, yeah, again, let me know in the comments below as to if you take things for granted and what surprises you in photography. What makes you sit and think, my goodness, I didn't realize that everybody didn't know that. I'd really be interested because it was an eye-opener on those. Anyway, I'm going to leave you now. Thanks very much for the comments and the support. I really do appreciate it. Till the next time, keep on taking your camera out, keep on having fun with your photography, and don't forget to tell me why you think I'm getting less views. And watch a few more of my videos. See you next time. Bye-bye.